Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I understand that there are many people in the media who don't agree with his language, but he has used many words to describe the way he has been relentlessly attacked. And 93% of the news coverage against him is negative. Let's talk about what the president's actually done for the African-American community.
The word lynching. How you doing, everybody? Chad Benson. Lynching. Is he brilliant? Is he a narrative changer? Right? You got a guy named Bill Taylor who's in today talking to all the muckety-mucks in D.C. And what is everybody talking about today? Lynching. A word I wouldn't have used. Things that frustrate people are things like this, especially given our history. But he tweeted out, essentially, this is a lynching.
What we see here, once again, is this president attempting to change the narrative using what I consider to be real caustic terms to compare the constitutional process to something like lynching is far beneath the office of the President of the United States.
Yeah, but it changed the narrative, didn't it? Over the weekend, Brian Seltzer, who is, quite frankly, insufferable, if you ever see him on CNN, right? I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, but he's tough to listen to, was talking about something and the world that we live in today, especially when it comes to our media.
News cycles are out. Shock cycles are in. That is what we're experiencing day in, day out. Another shock, another scandal, another period of outrage, and then the same thing all over again. Shock on top of shock on top of shock. There's shock about the shock, and then there's shock about the shock about the shock, and then Trump delivers another shock. A lot of folks these days just hear the shock and outrage, and they miss the why.
You know what, though? Narrative's changed. Is he brilliant? Is he lucky? Is he a genius? Is he an idiot? Does he not understand some of these things? Probably all of them. But who gets shocked? At this point in time with the president, who in God's name gets shocked at anything he says? Honestly. Joked around during the campaign, I could shoot somebody out here on Manhattan and I was laughing. I was like, yeah, probably. Who gets shocked at this moment in time? We live in a shock and awe world. Media loves it. I continue to say this. Here's the media's dream. Trump's impeached, which, by the way, even his allies are saying you're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to get impeached in the House. Removal, different story, but impeached, yes, probably going to happen. Get used to it. May take longer. As the Democrats are saying, every time somebody comes in new, starts talking, they give us nude leaves, down a rabbit hole we go. But think about this. Their dream in this clickbait, soundbite culture is another 4 years of Donald Trump. And what they would love is 4 years of battle over and over again, 4 years of storylines, 4 years of knowing on top of everything else. He's not going to run for re-election. So if he lets it all hang out now, what's he going to be like in 3 years? Oh, yeah, I never thought of that. Shock is what gets people to watch things. Shock is what gets people to do emotional things. Tweet, scream, yell, go after people. And what happens is you get a reaction because emotion is the thing that gets you going. Right? Greatest sales book in the world. I'm telling you guys, everybody, go get a psychology book. If you're a salesperson, don't go get Zig Ziglar's book hoping he's going to teach you sales here. Don't get you this book or Tom Hopkins's. All those people are great. Go get a psychology book and look at psychology. There's a reason that the ASPCA shows you sick animals who are struggling. They're looking for emotion. And Trump figures it out. He gets it. Is some of it lucky? Yes. But you know what? He's the king troll. Dude trolls everybody. And they buy into it. He knows. But they also love it because they know it gets people to watch. You know, the whole Veritas CNN thing a couple weeks ago. First of all, I'm talking to a bunch of people like, did you see what CNN? And I'm like, did I see what? Well, did you see what they said about Trump and the media this and how much they hate him and da-da-da-da-da? I'm like, but you don't watch CNN. But didn't you already believe that? Yeah. Zucker and him have a personal vendetta against each other. Yeah. But you believe that already. So your outrage is silly. Well, they talked about what? Pushing the envelope, creating things where things weren't there. Absolutely. Is this lynching thing bad? Yes, I wouldn't have used it. These are the things that frustrate me. But I will tell you this, the changing of the story. Many of you have no idea. There's a person there today, another ambassador, going in to talk about text messages and all of this stuff. What are people talking about today? A tweet he sent about lynching. Him being lynched politically. But it did just enough to change the narrative. On top of all of that, we've got Trump giving everybody a history lesson.
I don't know if you know George Washington. He ran his business simultaneously while he was president. Many other presidents, there weren't too many really rich presidents, but there were a few. They ran their business. Hey, Obama made a deal for a book. Is that running a business? I'm sure he didn't even discuss it while he was president. Yeah. He has a deal with Netflix. When did they start talking about that? That's only, a couple of examples.
All right, let's unpack it. These are the things that frustrate me about Trump. I'm out there if I'm Trump, and I'm talking about working for the American people. Hey, I'm working for you. See what we're doing with immigration? We're working on. I want to get something comprehensive done. I don't want the next person and after the next person after the next person to come in here and have to deal with the things that I've had to deal with because both sides of the aisle failed you. On top of that, I'm getting stuff done when it comes to the economy. They call me all of these things, but look at the economy. Look where we are. We have more jobs and we have people to fill them. I'm talking about my victories day in and day out. I continue to tell people what really won Trump the election was as he's going through the middle of the country, right? The breadbasket of our nation, he's going through. He could talk about the wall. He could say funny stuff. He's quick-witted, whether you like him or not. He could talk about all of these things. But every third or fourth line, he goes, and we're bringing back jobs. We're going to put you back to work. You're going to make more money. You're going to feel comfortable. We're bringing back jobs. And then on to something else. People hear that. Oh, yeah, he's bringing back jobs. Did you hear? He's going to bring back jobs. Jobs are coming. Guess what jobs are here? Talk about your victories. But then don't lie about stuff. Obama, I'm here to fact check you. First of all, George Washington didn't have two desks. He had one desk, a desk he bought, and then said, I'm taking that with me because I bought it. Secondly, the emoluments clause is in there for a reason. Yes, it's in there for those of you who don't know the little paper thing, the Constitution. And Obama actually signed the deals after he left office. I don't begrudge any president or any human being who's willing to go through this crap. To make money. You're done. You want to go make $200,000 speech? God bless you. Who doesn't want to do that? I'm asking any one of you out there. You guys can tweet at me directly, at Chad Benson Show. Who wouldn't want that? Somebody offers you $200,000 today to go to give a speech at Fordham University for an hour. Whatever your genius is, HVAC, right? Maybe you're retired from the military and you're listening here. Maybe you're a young mom and you want to go and they said, hey, what's it like to balance school and an entrepreneurial new business and having a young child in the home? And you want to go give a speech about that. And they say, we're going to give you $200,000. Are you going to take it? Oh, you're going to take it. I'll take it. Hell, you'll take it for $10,000, let alone $200,000. I don't begrudge anybody for that. But no, some of these things, he says, you just sit there and you scratch your head.
George Washington was actually considered a very, very rich man at the time. But they ran their businesses. George Washington, they say, had two desks. He had a presidential desk and a business desk. I don't think you people with this phony emoluments clause. And by the way, I would say that it's cost me anywhere from $2 to $5 billion to be president. And that's okay. Between what I lose and what I could have made, I would have made a fortune. If I just ran my business, I was doing it really well. I have a great business. I have the best property.
Yeah, best business, best everything. And you know what? I said this yesterday. The Trump brand, for all of the disdain that people have for Trump out there, his brand is destroyed. Those kids are going to spend forever in the day trying to rebuild that. They are. Because it was a brand that was kind of beloved, right? He was a playboy billionaire. He was kind of a fun dude. He was on television. He wasn't disdained. I said this about Oprah, and I continue to say it on a daily basis. Oprah would love to be president, except for the fact that she built her entire life up to the point where people love her. Black, white, gay, straight, Republicans, Democrats, progressives, conservatives. And when you decide to put your foot in that proverbial political pool to find out what the temp is like, and then you jump all in, guess what happens? Half of the country doesn't like you anymore. Nothing else has changed other than you said you want to be president of the United States, so you are making a stand. And now we know a lot about you. Oh, you may. We know you're a progressive. We know you're a Democrat. We know you're a Republican or conservative. We know all of those things before. But when you actually have to go and make a stand, and you're a person like Trump or Oprah or anybody else, guess what, kids? You've hurt your brand. Michael Jordan said it years ago. Republicans buy shoes too. That's the reality of it. So has he lost to some? Yes, he has hurt his brand tremendously. In a day and age where it doesn't take a lot to hurt your brand, where a tweet or a text or something like that can damage you to the point where you can get giant corporations to move off one tweet. Yeah, he's hurt his brand. Yes. So, yeah, I don't begrudge people for making money, presidents or otherwise. I don't think anybody else does. I like Trump. I don't want him to fail. And at the same time, I get a little bored with the antics. The antics like this drives me crazy. I think it drives a lot of you crazy, too. Focus on your wins. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Actress Loughlin, her husband Massimo Giannulli, and 9 other parents previously charged in the scheme face an additional charge now of conspiring to commit federal program bribery. Federal prosecutors said they bribed employees of an institution that receives federal funds, namely the University of Southern California, in order to get their kids in as athletic recruits. The new charge exposes Loughlin, Giannulli, and the other parents who have so far pleaded not guilty to even more prison time. A handful of university athletic officials were also hit with additional charges.
Aunt Becky is doing real time. Do we understand this now? She's going to do real time. Like Felicity Huffman is doing 2 weeks where she's like making crafts, and like she's washing cars. And she's trying to figure out, does her butt look big in the jumpsuit? And she's got a hat on. She's doing real time. Aunt Becky is going to do serious time. And I was thinking last night, so what do you do if you're her? Right? I mean, do you just walk out and you just pick somebody? Because she may go to a real jail, like a prison. You just go out and just flatten somebody and just know you're going to get whooped up on. But you got to pick the biggest person in your crafts group. When I heard about the college scandal, I laughed, right? Who didn't? Wait. I was like, hold on a second. Rich people who have all the advantages in life are figuring out a way to get their kids into colleges, by the way, which a good portion of them didn't even want to go to. But mom and dad live in a world of Instagram, and I need to be able to tell my kid, right? You can't walk in there and everybody's celebrating so-and-so, like Brooke and Brody, and they all got names like that, Cheyenne, and names. And, it's like you got to have some sort of special thing. Oh, so-and-so's going to SC. Well, such and such got into Harvard, and over here got into MIT, and da-da-da. You can't say, hey, guess what? My kid's going to be an influencer on Instagram. Even though she was doing good, making money, right? You can't say, oh, by the way, my kid got into Barbizon or got into like some sort of HVAC school, even though They're going to earn a good living. In an Instagram, in a I got to brag about my life world, like this is the ultimate as a parent. I got to do it. It's the ultimate. I got to do it. It's the ultimate. My kid's got to go to Wharton. My kid's got to get an MBA. My kid's got to be a doctor, a lawyer. Like, what if your kid doesn't want to be that? You ever ask your kid? No. Many people haven't. I have a 9-year-old son. My son's Jack. He's 9 years old, right? He wants to be everything every day. He's going to be a football coach. He's going to be a fireman. He's also going to play football itself. He wants to be a YouTube influencer. I just want him to be happy. I don't care what you are, right? Don't do anything stupid in life. Don't get anybody pregnant. Don't do something absolutely asinine. Don't get arrested. Don't do drugs, and be happy. But in this day and age, that's a tough thing, man. It is. Those parents went deep on some of these parents. And some of them bragged about it, as did their kids. That's what's insane.
19 of 35 parents have pleaded guilty, including Felicity Huffman, who was spotted over the weekend outside federal prison in her inmate jumpsuit, walking to meet her daughter and husband, William H. Macy, for a visit, more than halfway through her 2-week sentence for paying $15,000 to boost her daughter's SAT scores.
She paid $15,000. Some of them paid $500,000. Like, I could never look at my mom and say, Mom, give them $100,000 and they're going to put me on the rowing team. My mother would have been like, shut up. It's insane, some of the money that they spent to get their kids into school. Whereas, like, my God, you had no other poll than that? It's insane. Tell you what, it is absolutely insane. We live in a world like that, right? Like, for all the talk about Biden and his kid and Trump and his kids and all that stuff, think about these celebrities. Think about all these celebrities. Think about these rich people who decided to buy their kids degrees, essentially, in school. Insane. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson is Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When you're proposing something like this, it's got to be clear how it's paid for. And the plan that I'm putting forward, we call it Medicare for all who want it, can be paid for without raising middle-class taxes. And it's got a lot of other advantages, too, because it lets people keep their private plans. So the basic idea is we take a version of Medicare, we make it available for anybody who wants it. But if for some reason you prefer a different plan, that's okay. I'm not going to make you switch. And I just think that's better than saying you've got to do Medicare whether you want to or not, and just make that entire change for the entire country in 4 years or less.
Pete Buttigieg right there, running for president, the Democratic side. Very interesting what he's proposing. Look, people are frustrated. These are things that matter. When people sit down to vote next year, we're a pocketbook voting country. We know that. We're going to sit down and we're going to think to ourselves, is the economy good? Am I better now than I was, say, 4 years ago? Right now? Probably. Again, a lot can happen in 13 months. Are we safer than we were? There's division in this country, and that's tribalism. I don't think that's going anywhere. Both sides are pushing on each other in different ways. So we'll sit down and start checking the boxes. And healthcare is going to be a huge box. People are frustrated. They're frustrated at politicians across the country. According to a new Gallup poll, number one thing that basically people in America agree on as far as dislike goes is our politicians, our government. The way it's run, it's inefficient. It is broken. There's too much waste. Doesn't seem to get anything done. This will be a huge thing. Make no doubt about it. People are frustrated. I have friends who... I grew up here in America, but I spent almost a decade in Europe, and I've lived under socialized medicine. And I've lived in a place where in Britain where I could have my own private insurance as well. And it did a little bit of both. People are going to be frustrated moving forward more and more. They're seeing their choice. They're seeing eliminated in a lot of places. Skyrocketing deductibles that you're never going to hit. You're like, God, I hope I don't hit my deductible, because if I do, I'm in bad shape. But there's also a lot of people out there that love what they have. We want choice. We don't want to be held captive to a singular thing. But this is going to be a big thing. I tell everybody, if somebody told me today I had to vote for a Democrat for Republican, that's all I had. All I had were the ones on the left side of the aisle that are running right now. Pete Buttigieg is the guy. I think he's pragmatic. I think he understands certain things. We live in a world, too, where age has become a real issue, and his age hurts him. I think if he's 47, he's running by every one of these people. We don't really want to vote for our grandkid. We don't want to vote for our nephew. We don't want to vote for our young son. It's a little too early. Not quite, Sonny boy. But health care is big, and Obamacare is struggling. It's on its deathbed. Partially for the maneuvers that Trump and the Republicans have done and tried to do, and partially because it was a hope and a prayer. Like a lot of things in politics, if everything goes right and perfect and we overexceed which we think we could possibly do, this will work just fine. What if it doesn't happen? Well, if one thing, a small thing is wrong, it's going to crash. But you see him up there. I don't know how they pay for the free things. I don't. I have no idea. I mean, Bernie Sanders, literally when he goes on stage, there should just be there's a bottle, right? Or a lamp, and then you rub it, and then he comes out because he's going to try to give you 3 wishes. But it's the only genie I know that says, hey, I got 3 wishes for you. I want this, this, and this. Great. Let me find out who has those things, and I'll take them from him and give them to you.
I just think we got to have some humility about this. In other words, to get from here to there, it makes more sense to make it optional. And then if we're right that that's going to be the best plan for all Americans, then all Americans will choose it and it'll become the only plan. And if we're wrong and some Americans would rather be on something different, well, then we're going to be really glad we didn't kick them off the plans they had and force them onto ours. So it's a similar vision about where I think the destination is going to be, but an approach that is more practical and more flexible for Americans who I trust and make the right decision on what's right for them.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Right? It's about choice. They love choice, except when it comes to having choice to get away from the government. They don't like that choice. But I like what he says. And if it's wrong, and it's not the best thing, well, thank God we didn't get rid of it, right? Because once you destroy it, there's no building it back up, right? If Bernie and Elizabeth Warren have their way, they're going to kill it. It's going to die. All these private, health insurances and the doctors, and hell, if it's up to Bernie, he may make it illegal for you to even try to see a doctor that has nothing to do with the government. Oh, my God. But then what? If it goes south, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly, and they know that. But this is going to be one of the 2 or 3 big things people will be talking about. There's no doubt in my mind, people listening right now, you like your insurance, you have your insurance, you're frustrated at times with your insurance. I have a friend right now who's battling cancer, and after months and months of battling, they finally got approved for something, but it's put him behind where he should be. Some people are just going to be so frustrated, they're just like, you know what, I don't want anything to do with it, which is always, I thought, been what the government's always wanted. Frustrate the hell out of everybody to the point where they're like, I give up. We'll just do what you're doing. You guys might remember this when Trump said, we might pull out of Syria.
The President of the United States is in danger of losing the mandate of heaven.
Yeah. So far, from what I understand, because today was the day that things were supposed to essentially shut down with these pause in the fighting. But now we may have a new deal.
Turkey's President Erdogan says if Kurdish fighters don't leave the security zone in northern Syria in 6 days, Turkey will resume its attacks to force them out. U.S. officials say that is not the agreement the U.S. and Turkey made, and that the U.S. will add punishing sanctions if that happens. In the meantime, Russian President Putin announcing that Turkey and Russia will patrol the safe zone to secure Turkey's border.
Yeah. I just think it's a mess. And I think this is one of those things where you look at Trump and I feel like you got frustrated. Something was going on. You decided to do this. This is another thing you want to check off your box. And we shouldn't have. People say we shouldn't be the police of the world. No, we shouldn't. But understand that the world's going in two directions. It's either going to go in the direction of freedom or it's going to go to the direction of despots and China. And we have to decide. And I wish more countries would start to patrol with us, but they don't. But the reality is, I heard people when I talked about it on my show, and I would talk about the fact that, look, you know what? We need to be here, whether we like it or not. It's not a great situation, but it is what it is at this moment in time. And we could start thinking about a pullout. We could start thinking about exiting this in a smart way. But what we've done now is usher in chaos where there already is chaos, and we didn't need more of it. And that's an ugly thing. And understand that the Kurds in that area had democracy, very secular comparatively to the rest of the areas around there. And now it's gone to hell in a handbasket. And it's not going to get any ugly. It's not going to get any prettier. And it may get uglier before it even stabilizes. And that's not good either. There was better ways. And people say, well, Chad, we need to bring people home. We're not bringing them home. We're just moving them. We're just moving to pieces elsewhere. We're not bringing them back to anywhere. They're going to different parts of Syria. They're heading over to Saudi Arabia. They're going to different places. But what they're not doing is coming home. And now we have chaos, and chaos that we may have to step back into in the future. And that's frustrating for a lot of people. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
You're coming together.
Fans coming together over the trailer for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the 9th and final film in this particular saga. It dropped Monday night along with pre-sale tickets. And online seller Adam Ticket says Rise of Skywalker set a first-hour sales record, almost double that of Avengers Endgame earlier this year, which, by the way, went on to become the top-grossing movie of all time worldwide. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is produced by Disney, the parent company of ABC News. It's in theaters December 20th.
It's my birthday, by the way, if you guys want to give me anything. So I knew this was coming on last night. My son and I were talking about it. My son's 9 years old. He lives in a world of it's just amazing, right? The world that he lives in. I mean, think about when we were kids, right? I'm 48 years old. I used to love Little House on the Prairie. And the whole time I watched it, I thought, oh my God, what an awful time to be alive. There's no TV. There's no any of these things that we have, the modern accoutrements, cars, and all this kind of stuff. And I was talking to my son about Star Wars because he loves Star Wars. We've been to see Star Wars, all of the movies. And I told him, I said, Monday Night Football because he loves the Patriots and, watch it. And he's super excited about it. And I said, Jack, when I was a kid, you couldn't get a good portion of the movies that played in the theater. They may not go like E.T. and Star Wars and any Disney. They never went to VHS. But I said, as a kid growing up, my dad, we had a VCR, so we were cool. We got and had a bootleg Star Wars tape. It was like the greatest thing in the world. Everybody come over to my house. I watched it a million times. And he goes, what's a VCA? I was like, a VHS. He's like, what is it? And I told him what it was. And he was like, oh. I said, Jack, let me tell you something. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have all of these things, and YouTube. I said, when I was a kid growing up, you used to have to go you could go rent one He goes, the movie? I said, no, you could go rent the VCR and bring it home for the weekend and rent some movies. Remember that? You'd have to put down it's like, okay, we need a $50 deposit for the movie, and we need the $100 deposit for the and you could get it at the supermarkets. You could rent something to clean your floors and a VCR at the supermarket. He must think of us, and I'm sure your kids and your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, they probably look at you guys and say the same thing too. It's like, oh my God, that's right. I remember that. Wow. They must look at us like we looked at Little House on the Prairie. Like, how did those people live? How did those people live? It was a struggle, but we got through it because we didn't have weird parents like you do nowadays. I read a great article today about parents and this world that we live in, right? Like, how many of you listening, and you could tweet at me, at Chad Benson Show, ChadBenson. How many of you listening lived in a world where you wanted to go to the park? You went to the park, right? Your bikes in the front yard were where you found your friends. Like, you'd be riding down the street like, oh my God, everybody's over at Raymond's house. Everybody's over at Steve's house or Linda's house, whatever it was. Like, that's how you knew. Like, your mom would be like, hey, the lights come on, you should come in. And I read great articles today in New York Post talking about, you know what? It's not just other parents now parenting. It's this whole village mindset that it takes a village, and so everybody's going to be involved. So if your kid's out in the street, you may get the neighbor who's never had kids come over to tell you that your kid's playing basketball in the street and they should watch out. Like, what do you think's going to happen? They could get hit by a car. Could. Probably. What if they get abducted? It's not going to happen. It's not. Well, it could. It could. He could hit by lightning, too. He could go in the ocean, get bit by a shark. The reality is, the chances of it happening in that way is so slim to none. People don't understand. We live in the safest time in human history. We've never been in a better time. But we live in this fear factor, and it's our politics is nearly the same way. It's built on craziness and lunacy and lies, and we say stuff and we throw it out there in this just huge way, and, oh, the world's coming to an end, or you should do this, you should. We live in the best time in human history. And it is crazy. I mean, my God, think about all the things that we have at our disposal, from the computer and our phone. That phone that you have here, your smartphone device, think about this for a second, is so much more powerful than what put our men on the moon. Think about that, where we are in this day and age. But yeah, we parent other kids' kids. This article, it was just interesting to read about it. And this one vlogger talks about, well, guess what I did? My kid got bit at school, and I decided not to do nothing except vlog and blog about it. And I thought to myself, you did do something. You talked about it. They called my son when he was in kindergarten. They called because two little girls in like first grade kissed him. And they're like, what should we do about this? I'm like, what do you want me to do? They're kids. Let them be kids. Figure it out for themselves. Give them a high five? I don't know. Just get them a room? People are insane. People are insane. Trending on the internet right now is that word lynching. Why is it trending? Well, because it is. Because President Trump used it. And that's what President Trump did. He didn't use it in a press conference. He did what President Trump does. He tweeted it. People are upset.
It is very painful, and it is a distraction that America should not accept or tolerate. And frankly, we should proceed constitutionally as we are, as members of Congress, to do our job. What's your job, Sheila Jackson Lee? What's to get him out of there? No, that's not your job. If he's done something, you guys have been, Adam Schiff and everybody else, you've been running around with essentially a sentence of guilty. You're just trying to find that crime that fits it. The Russia thing blew up in your face. Now, are there some legs here, more so than Russia, when it comes to Ukraine? Absolutely. I think there's some issues here that I find upsetting. And I think that the Giuliani thing is going to bite him in more ways than one. Because why is Giuliani dealing with any of these people? Why are the 4 people that Giuliani were associated with have been arrested? What is going on there? That, to me, is a very fair question. But I just love the fact that over a tweet, every single one of them has a chance to run and talk to somebody in the media about a tweet that Trump sent. Pramila Jayapal.
I have stopped being surprised by anything he says. He is so out of the bounds, so disrespectful of our Constitution, so disrespectful of our national security, really has betrayed all of our values.
All of them. Every single one. I'm an action person. Trump's words, at times, I believe, are beneath the office. I think there are a lot of things he can do better. The incessant lying over silly things you don't need to lie about, I could do without. But in the end, I'm an action person. And I think action is vitally important. What have his actions been? Tell me the policies that you hate. We can discuss that. You don't like the guy. A lot of people I don't like. Are they getting their job done, though? That's the question. I think it's a very fair question to ask. Absolutely. Follow along with me at Chad Benson Show on Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
One word, huh? Changes everything during the day. They're fighting over it now. He said lynching, quick! It's like a magician. Oh, my God. What did he say? He tweeted out lynching. What do we do? I don't know. We talk about it for 6 hours. We dissect it. We go back and forth, try to figure it all out. All the while that's going on, he's taken away from the fact that, yes, impeachment is on the books. It's going to happen at some point in time. I have to explain to you guys over and over again, impeachment does not mean removal. Lindsey Graham's out in front of it, though, and he's quick.
I'm going to introduce a resolution tomorrow condemning this practice in the House.
Okay.
It's illegitimate. It's not consistent with past practices where the president and the minority party had a chance to call witnesses and confront the accusers against the president. We did that in 1998.
He's calling it. He's calling stuff. Lindsey's very... Remember like a week ago, he's like, you better watch out, Mr. President. Better watch out with the whole Syria thing. Now he's like, I totally believe him. I totally believe him. I'll do whatever you ask. It's going to happen. People freak out. Oh, my God, do you think it's going to happen? All you people out there who have MAGA hats on, doesn't mean that he's going to be removed. It just means that the process will take place that will eventually lead to the quote-unquote trial in the Senate. From there, we go. Right? From there we go. But it's amazing. And it's so funny because you mention it, I'll do videos and all, do interviews and stuff, and people work today, filled in for Tom Sullivan, and it's like people are like, you're working for the deep state. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like you can't even have a conversation with people. It's amazing. I'm an information cat. I like information. What's the information you have? Let me make up my mind. Let me see it. Right? And no, quite frankly, I have an issue in a lot of ways with the way that they've gone about doing their thing, the Democrats, because I think the Democrats, look, there are people there that their sole mission is to get him out. And it's tough to buy everything that they're selling based on the fact that it's them. It's them. This is all they want. This is all they think about. This is everything that they've spent a majority of their time in front of the cameras on, behind the scenes. I talk to several Congress people a week on both sides of the aisle, and they'll tell me things that you're just like, really? Like, don't say anything and don't use my name. About what's going on We don't get anything done half the time. And you got to remember, it's not just that, yeah, there are other things happening. It's the reality is that it's pulling everybody's attention away from other stuff. And the people are hogging the cameras and they're hogging the time. And all they're trying to do is catch this president. And if he's guilty, and you can prove it, and the Republicans don't get him out of there, shame on them. But we're not there yet.
There's pressure on us to, give the president a fair trial.
That's Eric Swalwell, who ran for president for almost 30 minutes. But listen to what he says. There's pressure on us to give him a fair trial. There shouldn't be pressure on you to give him a fair trial. That should be just what it is. The thing is you're thinking to yourself, how do I make it look? Because I don't like him because he's jerk face. And I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't hate the guy. That's the difference. I was talking to somebody earlier who texted at me, and we get into it, and he's a good texter, or she's a good texter. And the difference is I don't mind him. Don't hate him. We live in this world now, you got to choose a side. You got to hate or love. There's no in between. Always be in between with politicians. I don't hate you, but I don't love you. Okay? I don't hate you, but I don't love you. And that's the way you should be. Try to be as non-feeling. If you have zero feelings about something, right? You'll be more confident in the decision you make. Because you're making it based on facts and not emotions. The best gamblers in the world figure out how to do what? Like, you watch guys who are really big gamblers, especially on sports. Oh, it's this great documentary a couple months ago about one of the biggest gamblers that's out there right now. He doesn't like sports at all. Doesn't like it at all. Doesn't have a favorite team. Doesn't care about any of this stuff. To him, it's numbers and analytics. That's all it is. It's not emotional. And he'll talk about, I see people all the time next to me who are all emotional and they're losing their money because it's based on emotion. I play the odds based on the data and the information that's in front of me. That's it. He makes it non-emotional. Not that he doesn't have emotions. It's just that. Facts. That's all I want to see.
There's pressure on us to, give the president a fair trial, probably one fairer than he deserves. If we were doing Donald Trump justice, we'd be done by now. But we are going to give him a fair trial. And in America, even when someone confesses, you still get a fair hearing, a fair process.
But we're under pressure to do that. You're under pressure to do something which is afforded to all people in this country? That's amazing. That's crazy. I don't even know what to say at that point in time. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So Turkey, the Kurds, the Russians, everybody's hanging out. They're all having fun. They got stuff. They got a deal. They got things going on. What's happening there?
Turkey's President Erdogan says if Kurdish fighters don't leave the security zone in northern Syria in 6 days, Turkey will resume its attacks to force them out. U.S. officials say that is not the agreement the U.S. and Turkey made, and that the U.S. will add punishing sanctions if that happens. In the meantime, Russian President Putin announcing that Turkey and Russia will patrol the safe zone to secure Turkey's border. Andy Field, ABC News.
Thanks, Andy. So that's not the deal? Wait, the deal that you didn't make based on a split-second decision of whatever that you wanted to check off? Numbers? Right? Like, this is something I did. I'm doing this. I promised the people I'd do this. So based on all of those things, they're not doing, and now you're threatening to put on more sanctions, even though the sanctions really aren't quite as on as which they should be. And now what? Somebody asked me earlier, what do you think's going to happen? We're bringing our guys home. I said, we're not bringing our guys home. Yes, we are. No, they're going to Iraq, and Iraq's like, you guys can't come here. Some may be going to Saudi Arabia, and many others are going to Syria. It's not like, well, we decided to close up shop, so, you guys all, your duty isn't here. You're released from your duty. It's not jury duty. No, they're staying there. The pieces are just moving on the board different. And now we've caused chaos and craziness where there didn't need to be any. I'm not saying we shouldn't have pulled out at some point in time, but we could have done a little bit better job. Whether, look, tweeting in diplomacy by tweet, I'm sure is fantastic. But it is a frustrating thing because politicians realize what may come down the road is big.
I find it extraordinary that the United States of America, with all of our economic and military might, was not able to tell Turkey how they were going to deal with northeast Syria, as opposed to Turkey telling us how they were going to deal with northeast Syria.
Yeah, Mitt Romney. He's a never Trumper. Can't listen to him. He's a never Trumper. Maybe. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Here's one thing I know about Mitt Romney. If he finds something in the impeachment or finds something he's uncomfortable with, finds something to be so egregious that's not like we're trying to draw the picture that you really got to squint your eyes and turn your heads. Oh, yeah, I can see. If he found something real, I think he would vote the way that anybody should vote. But at the same time, I don't think he is going to go, just because I don't like Trump's attitude and the way he acts and some of the things he said about me, that, well, now's my chance to get him. I don't think that either. Yeah, and he was right about that. I mean, so wait a minute here. I feel like we still got played from Erdogan. I do. I feel like we absolutely. And people say, well, why does it matter? Why should we be there? I'll tell you why. Because we have two places we're going in this world. Our way or China. The choice is yours. People are running around worried about, I'm worried about climate change. You should be worried about the Chinese. That's what you should be worried about. You should be worried about where they want to go, what they want to do, how they want to get there. That's what you should be worried about. We had Gordon Chang on, I think it was a couple weeks ago. And I told him, I don't think America has it. I think we're Rocky and China's Mr. T. Right? China's inside their apartment. You're out signing autographs and going places and not really paying any attention to that up and comer. And they're here and you realize they're good, but still, you're not really. Get a little flabby, join a little bit too easy, enjoying a little bit much. I don't know if we have it to go to the mat like they do. And it's not just us, it's the West and freedom. Look at what's happening. China, Iran, North Korea, Russia. Pretty formidable. And where they would like to take the globe, in particular China, China will use them as much as they can. But they have plans for them as well. We're letting other people dictate things that may come back and bite us in the ass. That's not good. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. Car Shield. Love it. Love it. Here's a scenario. You got a car, it's got like 75,000 miles on it. You bought it used, you really like it, but there's no what-if protection. You didn't get a warranty. Something goes wrong. Check engine light comes on. No! You take it in. Find out it's going to be $1,500 because of the wiggly wogglies and the boogly gloogs and the electronic stuff. And you're like, oh, my God, but you need it. So you have to pay it. And you're bummed. Super sad. Scenario number 2. You have Car Shield. Right? You call Car Shield. Say, hey, I've got an issue. So do you need help? Because you got 24/7 roadside assistance. Said, no. It's okay. I can drive it. Where do I take it? I don't know. Who's your favorite mechanic? This guy down the street. We've been using him for years. Take it there. Right? Hey, my car's going to be in for 3 or 4 days. Don't worry. We'll get you a rental car. You pay a small deductible. They get them paid. Do you see that? Scenario 1, scenario 2. Don't be scenario 1. Be scenario 2. Car Shield's amazing. You're going to love them. They're going to treat you right. Any kind of plan you can think of, they got it for you. How do you reach them? Simple. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson or visit carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. That's carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10% right there. A deductible may apply. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Whether you're a fan of Tulsi Gabbard or not,
oh my God,
there is zero evidence that she is some Russian plant.
What kind of name is Tulsi anyway? It's such a weird name.
And I think it just makes the whole Russian conspiracy thing,
like, where's Russia,
look absurd. That it's gone this far that you would, as Hillary Clinton, a major figure.
That's that old lady that ran for president, right, against Donald Trump. Like, he's awful, but she was like a witch.
Figure in the Democratic establishment to this day baselessly smear an American veteran who served in the Iraq War as a medic as being groomed by Vladimir Putin. I mean, that's disgusting and absurd.
It's super absurd. We were making fun of that. We played it a little earlier. I was just like, I'm like, who's that? Oh my God, that's super absurd. Like Tulsi, that's a weird name, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't sound Russian. It sounds like, kind of like exotic. That is still the right, like the whole thought process of that. But she needs to stop talking about it. Right? And understand the Democratic Party is not a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. For a lot of reasons. One of which is she called their BS a while ago.
This is a very, very dangerous game, and there's a backstory here. Let's not forget, Tulsi Gabbard was picked out by the Democratic Party establishment and put at the top of the DNC. They thought she was going to be their golden girl. And she got in the DNC, and she looked around. She saw Debbie Wasserman Schultz and other people, Clinton allies, doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing in the primary. And Tulsi publicly quit and then endorsed Bernie Sanders. And it's been payback hell ever since.
Yeah, see? I mean, this shows you that, like, you know what it is? These political worlds are? It's Scientology cultish stuff, right? Right? It's that. It's Jim Jonesy stuff. It's like you drink the Kool-Aid, you do what we tell you to do, or else. And if you dare cross the D or the R, you will pay for it. She called them on the floor for what they did, which was essentially clear a path for the chosen one, Hillary Clinton. And she's like, that's not, no. But yes. But she needs to just let it go, right? Like with Trump, stop talking about it. Stop talking about impeachment. Stop talking about all of this other stuff. Don't do it. Talk about other things. Your wins. Talk about the things you've done right. Talk about the things you want to address. Talk about how you want to work with the Democrats. Talk about those things. Let them do them. You do everything else, because you getting out in front of it. Let the Lindsey Grahams, right? Let the Mitch McConnells, right? Let the Kevin McCarthy and all that. Let them fight your battles in public. It's the same thing here with Tulsi. Stop talking about it. Oh my God, Tulsi, you should totally stop talking. Why have a gray streak in your hair? That is weird. That lady was on television. She's not going to kill me today. He's like, why aren't you on television, Chad? I'm like, I don't know. Probably because I would just go, this is just a bunch of Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You guys heard what we talked about off the air. You'd be like, oh my God, I got to get that podcast. Then a week later, you're like, what happened to these guys? Oh, they don't have access to microphones anymore. What did you guys say? We're talking about an awful movie that's out right now called The Lighthouse, I think it's called. It's just, and there's a part in it that is just awful to begin the movie. And we were just talking about, like, at any point where they, like, he went off script, I guess. Like, it was in the script, but he decided to take it further. Like, this is exactly where this guy would do this thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anthony, I like Pete Buttigieg. And people get mad. Like, he's a leftist. His father was a Marxist. Look at all the things he did. Look what he learned. He's just trying to get into our souls so he could snatch away everything. Because he's a snatch away guy. And I just laugh at that stuff. Let me tell you guys something. It's going to take a lot to turn us into a socialistic, communistic state of Venezuela. It just is, right? It sells book. It's great to sell. World's not coming to an end. We're never going to go there. First of all, we're fickle. We can't even make the right decisions when it's in front of us. Right? You think we're going to allow the world to get to the point where the minute California right now is dealing with power outages because PG&E is turning all the power off when there's a breeze or it gets over 50 degrees or there's a chance that somebody could be smoking a cigarette near a place that's open field that could catch fire and they'll get blamed for it. People lose their mind. They go apoplectic. They freak out. They're screaming. They're yelling. Do you think we're going to allow our nation to become so broke that we can't do anything? We can't go 5 minutes without our phones. Fear. It's a beautiful thing. I try to bring back some logic and reason. People just, it's amazing. You can't even have there's so many people that it's like, I can't have a conversation with you because you're both sides of the aisle go so far off. They're off the beaten path to the point where it's like, I hope they took a compass. They may not get back. But I said I like Pete Buttigieg. I do. Right? He's going to, here's your Medicare for all who want it and stuff like that. I don't, yeah. Am I going to vote for? I don't know who I'm going to vote for. Hell, I don't even know who's going to be there. Somebody could surprise us. Trump could say, I don't want to do this anymore. Trump may run. Trump may be impeached, and there may be some overwhelming stuff we know nothing about. Not the stuff today. We got Bill Taylor Jr., ambassador right now to the Ukraine. He dropped a bombshell. No, it could be something else that we don't even know about. It could be so overwhelming that even Mitch was like, you're going to have to go. We don't know. Or he could walk easily to the next election. We have no idea. Right? Pundits are going to guess. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But I like Pete. But producer Anthony and I have talked about this on numerous occasions. His age is one thing, but why doesn't he resonate with black voters? And in fact, in many ways, why don't certain people, like Kamala Harris doesn't resonate with black voters? They're not big fans of hers. In many cases, they see her kind of like as, you're kind of the enemy. They like Joe Biden. They don't like Elizabeth Warren. Why don't they like Pete? Well, South Carolina voters are at least honest. They say there's a barrier for black South Carolina voters. There's a barrier. So there's this big 21-page report with black Democratic South Carolina voters in mid-July. And they say being gay was a barrier for those voters, particularly for the men who seemed deeply uncomfortable even discussing it. Like, you know what he's going to do, right? He's going to become president. He's going to make everybody mandatorily be gay. Like, do you really? One participant said, that's not my thing, but I wouldn't want to know that as a candidate. That was a female. She was under 40. Too much information. Another person said, I'll go ahead and say it. I don't like the fact that he threw out there that he lives with his husband. It's interesting. It's interesting. He's got a barrier to climb. He does. That's the reality of that. It's kind of funny, though. It's okay for you. It's not me. Probably going to legislate it. It's not going to legislate it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. You can tweet at me. I do love hearing from you. Facebook is doing Facebook things, like shutting things down, because that's what Facebook does now if they think you've done something wrong.
We're talking about accounts on Facebook and Instagram trying to influence voters. How do they do it? It's pretty simple. They pose as political or socially conscious groups, and once you start following them, they start pushing content to manipulate the way you think. President Trump, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden seem to be the candidates they're focused on.
Yeah. Yeah. And people go there. People go. I was saying earlier, I was talking to guys, I'm like, I want to live in some people's lives for a day. I just want to see, like this lady just totally attacked me. Yeah, you're part of the deep state, and your propaganda that you're spewing out there, and you probably work for Hillary and all this kind of stuff. I was like, I just want to know, like, what goes through, what's your day like? Because I get the same thing on the left all the time. You love Trump. You're a Trump sycophant. How dare you talk about Trump like that? You hate America. You hate, they just go off big time. And I'm like, okay, so what's a day like? So you wake up, right? Because you're obviously in a position where you have electronics, right? So you can get to some sort of device to fire off a tweet or a text message. Chances are you've got a roof over your head and food in your belly, and you probably have some sort of transportation. So you're functioning. But where do the wheels come off? That's what I want to know. Like, where does the wheels come off? Where, you kind of lose it. And then having a conversation is it's impossible. You can't do it. I can't have a conversation with you. It's because you're just spewing all kinds of stuff. And they'll send you all these wacky, like, hey, check this out, Chad. This is totally true. I met a few people at this event that were Trump supporters. This one lady, God bless her. She was exactly what, like the Russians, the disinformation. I'm like, it's right there. You're the one. You're the one that's going to share it 1,000 times, and you just figured out Facebook, and you figured out the share button, and you're going to share it 1,000 times, and other people are going to see it, and people are going to go, oh, I like her. That's anti-am or whatever. And some of the stuff that she was telling, she told me, get ready for this, guys. You guys sitting down? Producer Phil, you're sitting down, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. She told me Michelle Obama is a man. You can clearly see his wiener. But the one that made me go, are you kidding me? Are you being serious right now? And she was dead serious. I was like, oh, you're funny. No, she wasn't. There was no humor about this at all. That Chelsea and Hillary Clinton go to an underground restaurant in Los Angeles where they serve homeless people for dinner. Not that the homeless people come and serve you. They actually serve them as part of the entree. What do you have tonight? What goes good with the bum that you guys just caught and we're going to eat? It's like somewhere along the line, the wheel came off the bus. Where? It's just, it's the same thing on the other side. Like, I'll be having a discussion with somebody, at least trying to. And I've got some friends who have friends who are like, so, just like they don't live in a world of reality. When you bring up some things, like even you talk about, look, socialism was tried on 1,000 occasions. Well, but we've done it. We've never done it. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it like this. And Venezuela had it right until America stepped in and they destroyed everything. It's all America's fault. It's 100% America's fault. And we're going to do this. And we need equality. And you just start going on and you're just like, wow. Right? It's like right now, always Procter & Gamble's always pads, feminine hygiene pads. Some people fired off tweets to them saying you should take off the female symbol on the pads because it's offensive, because men can have periods too. And you're just like, and they did. And they did. By the way, I tweeted out a hilarious photo that the Babylon Bee put out. But those are people where, like, what do you do from here? Like, how do I converse with you? Because you see everything through a certain prism that is just, it's tough to have a conversation because everything that you do is based on some crazy thought process that isn't grounded in a real world. You just can't, though. Sometimes you just can't. And that's just it, right? It's like you just go, not a lot I can do. Just got to move on. Don't fight with certain people. Don't argue with certain people. Don't even discuss certain things with certain people because the reality is you're not going to get anywhere. That is exactly what the definition of insanity is doing that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show was your Twitter. I did tweet something out. You should check it out. It's pretty funny. So, because we were talking about the always pads. So the Babylon Bee, if you guys know what this is, it's like The Onion. They fact check the Babylon Bee, and it's all satire. It's like nothing about it is real. It's all satire. And it's got always macho. So it's like, it's the always, feminine hygiene, but instead it's got a skull with like two guns, instead of the crossbones thing. And it's got like a wrestler and two giant, huge, monster trucks. I love that. Oh, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me, MyPillow. I'm telling you guys, I'm imploring you. You, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, whatever, even yourself, you're like, I really need to get a new bed. And you go out and you look and like beds are like, hey, how much for that? And you're like, $40,000. But don't worry, because it can get cool in the evening and it can also do flips. And you're like, I just want to sleep better. But, don't worry about it. It's going to be awesome. It makes you waffles. I'm like, again, I just want to sleep. I'll make my own waffles. Yeah. But it comes with a 70-year warranty and easy payments. You don't want that. MyPillow mattress topper. Guys, I'm telling you, I love my MyPillows, but the mattress, it's like sleeping on the perfect cloud. It is incredible. Right now, you go to MyPillow.com, click on the listener radio special, and type in code Benson. You can save big on everything. They've even got the 2-for-1. Buy one MyPillow, get a second one for free. But if you're looking at anything, and people say, what's your favorite thing out of everything? It's the mattress topper. The mattress topper is otherworldly. It is so incredible. Now's your chance to grab them. Huge, deep discounts. And again, the buy one, get one free MyPillow is going on right now. 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Put it to the test. Go to MyPillow.com. Click on the new radio listener tab. Enter promo code Benson. You're going to save huge discounts. And again, the buy one, get one free is going on right now. Call 800-944-4975 or MyPillow.com. Promo code is Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Star Wars, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. I don't even know what it's called. Star Wars, a bunch of words. I was watching the trailer because it was out last night. I was thinking, God, you'd be great if like Gilbert Gottfried was part of it. We just changed all the actors. Instead of Yoda, it's Norm Macdonald. Yeah, I don't care what you do. Would that be hot? Nah, it's all right. Hey, you know what you should do? Yeah, you should. You know what a crocodile hunter is? Yeah, don't do what he did. That would be funny. I'd be like, I'm going to go see that. Now, I will see this because my son wants me to. It broke all kinds of massive records, like huge records. But it's just like Disney just took it and it's just like, all right, we're going to pump them out like every. And I think this is the last one of Star Wars. They will have other stories because they'll develop stories to characters because the money is too good not to. Plus, there's a lot of characters people like in Star Wars, and they're like, I'd like to see more of that person. I'd like to see more. Like Boba Fett. I want to know where Boba Fett. I'd go see Boba Fett. You want to do that? I'll do it. I'll do that. We can go there. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You guys haven't heard. Trump did what Trump does today, changed the entire conversation today, and took away, at least for most of the morning through the afternoon, because of a tweet. But impeachment? It looks like it's coming, and I have to explain to everybody what impeachment is. Impeachment is essentially, we've built up enough of a case that we believe that the president should be removed. Here, Senate, you take it. The Senate is where the trial will happen. Impeachment doesn't equal removal. Impeachment means there's going to be a trial to see if this person has committed a crime and should be removed from office. It doesn't mean you're gone. It just means there's a trial.
If you got a good case against the president, show it. The American people need to understand what's going on here. I'm not going to rely on Democrats to tell me what happened.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. And Swalwell said something today that just made me shake my head when he says, well, we're going to do all we can to give him basically a fair trial. He's going to get a fair hearing.
There's pressure on us to, give the president a fair trial.
There should never be pressure on you. Like, could you imagine that if a prosecutor said that in front of a judge? I just play this over and over again.
There's pressure on us to, give the president a fair trial.
There's pressure on you? Could you imagine a prosecutor standing up there going, even the judge, there's pressure on us to give this guy over here a fair trial for his case. He's facing forever in the clink. There's pressure on us. I guess we'll try. Luckily, the judge is Mitch McConnell in a lot of ways. Even though it's Chief Justice Roberts. But the jury is pretty much mostly Republicans. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We have to own up to the truth of the fact our capitalist system is not designed for our well-being. It's designed to maximize capital efficiencies. And increasingly, capital efficiencies will favor artificial intelligence, software, machines, and robots more and more than human beings. So the question is, how do you solve this problem? And one reason why folks in D.C. don't want to touch it is that people don't like to talk about problems they don't have a solution.
Yeah. That's Andrew Yang. Yang dog. Still not wearing a tie. Have you seen Beto not wearing a tie now? He's trying everything. He's going to change his name to Beto Yang. Anything. Someone vote for me. Andrew Yang's right. In a lot of ways. Capitalism, because we've now reached that, they talked about industrial revolution. This is like our fourth revolution. This is the next revolution, and this is a different one. Because the speed at which we're looking at everything that's happening to us now is tremendous. we're not used to something like this. I mean, even now, technology changes at such a breakneck speed. I mean, how many of you out there, by the time you get home after just buying a brand new laptop, computer, or phone, it's completely outdated? You turn it on and you're like, your phone's old. You're like, what? It's nuts. Now, is the solution $1,000 a month? I don't think so. Right? But he's right about Washington not having any of the answers. Washington's great at burying their head in the sand and being very myopic and focusing on one thing which they know they can control, and that's it. Right? So today, and the other thing is, too, they're also great at thinking that all of the world thinks the same thing they do. That the person in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who is a mom, right? I'll do a very politician thing. I'll paint a picture of who this person is, right? She's married. She's going back to school. Husband's got a small business. They got a couple little kids. They think that everybody's trying to figure out, what did Bill Taylor say today to all those congressional people when he was being talked about this whole thing with? No, they're not. They're thinking about, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? We got places to go. I got to study. I got a big exam tomorrow. I'm trying to get my RN license and all this stuff. This stuff's going on, right? No, they're not. They're not thinking about that. The average person, somebody hanging out in Orlando or Atlanta, right? Or Long Beach, California, or Long Beach, New York. They're thinking about all these other things. They're very myopic in what they're thinking and focusing on. And they're like a dog with a bone, and they're just going to stare at it the whole time. Like a cat with a laser beam. Just going to look at it. Move it over here and over there. But it's not getting out of their world. People are thinking about health care. They're thinking about how they're going to pay for stuff. They're hoping the economy is going to stay good. Right? There's a lot of things that they're thinking about. Nobody wakes up at 3 a.m. and goes, oh my God, Bill Taylor. Oh God, I hope, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know. It'd be great if Roger Taylor from Duran Duran showed up. Like, we couldn't get Bill, we got Roger. Hello, everybody. Roger Taylor, Duran Duran. That'd have been sweet. Lawrence Taylor would have been fun. He'd have been great. It doesn't matter at this point in time. What are you worried about? I'm going to honestly ask, what do you think about? Most people think about the day-to-day of life. That's what they're thinking about. And he's right. They don't have any kind of plan for the future. They don't, because they think about today. That's why we have debt. That's why we're in the position we're in a lot of different ways, because it's about the fiefdom now, not the fiefdom tomorrow. I can say one thing about people in the climate world, right? They're worried about tomorrow. And politicians aren't willing to destroy today for the maybe of something bad going tomorrow. They're just not. It's not going to happen. They care about today. What's it like today for me? Can I keep my world today? Can I do this today? That's what they care about. They know there's no fix for some of this stuff that they can just snap their fingers at. But they also don't know what damage it's going to do. Because, again, they're thinking, they're reactionary, they're not visionary. That's why they're politicians. Visionary people go into things like technology, medicine, entertainment. Politicians go into law. They're reactionary. What does it say about this case? Let's look back. Oh. Reactionary. We'll see. Do we come out of this with the new capitalism? Compassionate capitalism? No. Who knows? I don't know. I hear like, what do you think about compassionate capitalism? I'm like, what's that? Capitalism with a heart. Capitalism it doesn't care. It doesn't care your color. It doesn't care who you love, what you identify as. It's just capitalism. It's just there. How you use it, like everything else, how you use it is what you'll be judged upon. I was reading a great article today It was on CBS News talking about, for the first time, there are fewer wealthy people in America than Chinese. And it breaks down what's going on in China. So China has a vision for the future, what they want. Those wealthy people in China. Now, here's the thing. We have about 1 million people who are in the top 10% compared with 100 million in China. Look at the size of China, though. So we're way, 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 way ahead of them when it comes to wealth. It does. We have about 19 million millionaires. They've got about 4.5 million. Right? Median wealth for us, or at least income, is about, the wealth they say is about $66,000 per person, about $21,000 in China. By the way, to make it into the top 1% household on the globe, right? So to make it into the top 10% of the world, we're not talking just in America, but of the world, your wealth, your as far as like what's your net, $109,430. If you're worth $936,430, you are in the top 1% of the world. Puts it in perspective, right? It does. But then it talks about, taxes here. And it's funny because I wasn't a fan of the Trump tax cuts and a lot of that was Paul Ryan and the Republicans. Because it was a slap on the back to a lot of wealthy donors and stuff like that. Now, small business, I thought I was totally fine with small business getting somewhat of a break. I had no problem with that. Right? Medium and small size businesses, which is really, people don't realize that, that entrepreneur, that small business, that is the engine of America. We talk about corporations all the time, but you don't drive by corporations every day that are massive, employ hundreds and thousands of people. You drive by small business every day, everywhere you go, that are employing 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 people. That's the engine. And I was fine with that. And as far as the wealthy goes, I always hear the wealthy, well, you should tax us more. You can give more. But here's the thing, you're not going to, because you think the same thing that everybody else does. You're just going to piss it all away, aren't you? You guys are going to mess it up. You can donate every penny you have. Warren Buffett, you're worth what? I don't know, 60, 70, 80 billion, depending on the month, where Berkshire is sitting at. You can give every penny you have to the federal government, and it'll probably last about an hour. Gone. All of them could. When people whine about, I pay too much. People don't care what other people pay. What they want to know is, why do they get to do that? How can I figure that out? Because I've yet to meet anybody, rich, poor, middle class, who's like, man, I could really go for paying a lot more taxes. And a lot of people get frustrated because they all think the same thing. Black, white, gay, straight, rich, poor, Republican, Democrat. How are they going to waste this money? Right? They're just going to waste it. This is what we feel, because they do. But when I hear rich people whine about, well, you're right, we shouldn't have this much money, we shouldn't do this, then what? Then give it away. Give it away. You can. There's a little thing on when you're filling out the stuff. Right? You don't have to have a fleet of lawyers. You're worth $3 billion. You don't have to have a fleet of lawyers. Just go on the old IRS.gov website when next time you file it, and just file it and say, I'd like to donate all of my money. They'll gladly take it. But you don't trust them either. That's just it. And you could raise the taxes to 99%. And they'll figure out a way to pay $1. And it won't be illegal. If you really want to change things, figure out what you think is the right way to do it when it comes to the tax code. Figure it out. Figure out what you can get rid of, who takes they take these things, what they call loopholes. They're not. They're part of the law. But they figured out a way to use that law to benefit them. Figure out what those things are, that the people that you would like to have their money, because you're not greedy, but they are, and figure out how you work around that. And get rid of that. See what happens. Democrats, hear you bitching all the time. You had a chance to do it when Obama was in office, and you didn't do it. Just like you had a chance to do immigration, and you didn't do it. I always say it. You get one. One chance, everything will line up. You'll get your House of Democrats and Republicans and Senate of Democrat and Republicans and your president of Democrat and Republicans, and you get one thing. You get it through. They tried Obamacare, repeal and replace. They went with taxes because they couldn't figure that out. And the Democrats went with, well, they went with Obamacare. You get one thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. I'm traveling again. God, I travel a lot. I do. I took my Go Anywhere pillow because I'll be at tonight, and I like the place I stay. This hotel, I'm familiar, and they, really cool. It's like one of those things where, like, I'll roll in and they'll just hand me my key card because I'm there a couple times a week because I live it's like 120 plus miles round trip. Sometimes exhausting, especially after a weekend like this. And I take my Go Anywhere pillow with me, and I will tell you, it is great to have that because it's the one thing I'll put, usually I'll have two beds and I'll put everything over on one bed, have my pillow, boom, away I go. Now's your chance. Huge, deep discounts. Get a hold of them now. I'm telling you guys, the mattress toppers, bed sheets, everything is deep, deep, deep discounts. Just go to mypillow.com, and right now they have a radio listener special. So you click Benson. That's what you type in. See all the big discounts. Plus, they got the 2-for-1. Buy one MyPillow, get another one for free. It is simple. It is easy. Take advantage of it today. Call 800-944-4975 or go to mypillow.com. Type in code Benson. 60-day money-back guarantee, right? A 10-year warranty. You're going to love their stuff. And check out their mattress topper. You will not be disappointed. What's trending? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Redacted! Redacted!
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old intranet. What's trending? Let's find out what's trending. Let's start first and foremost with Google, kids. Google. Absolutely Google. Lakers and Clippers opening night in the NBA. We'll touch more on that tomorrow. Some stuff I wanted to get to. Just didn't have time to do it today. Jimmy Carter, he fell again. What a great dude, right? You didn't have to like his politics. I was a kid growing up. It was awful, right? It was. Great human being, right? Just an amazing human being. Nicki Minaj, she got married. World Series is trending. People are like, baseball's still on? I know, right? Baseball's so regional. If your teams, we watch football, right? So the Super Bowl's on, you're watching that. World Series on, it's like, my team's not in it. I don't care. Right? You may catch some highlights, or if there's a Game 7 and it's the Yankees and Dodgers or one of those big franchises, you may have the Cubs. Oh, my God, they haven't won in 700 years. You're like, I may watch that. But, Phil, are you going to watch the World Series?
I am.
Who's playing, by the way, Phil? Is it the Astros and some other team, the Washington Wizards? The Nationals. Twitter, where's Lindsay? D. Wade. Quid pro quo, Trump's got to go is trending. Racist in chief for the lynching thing that he said earlier today. Kellyanne, because there's an anonymous book that's coming out, behind the scenes, somebody inside. A lot of people think she wrote it. Where is Lindsey? Lindsey Graham? Who knows? He's flip-flopped all over the place. Poor. He's just got to be struggling there, old Lindsey. You okay? You okay? You all right? Okay, good. Just want to make sure you're all right, Lindsey. It's a few of the things that are trending globally. People are like, stop telling lies. Trump's not going to be impeached. I believe he is. You don't get this far and not do it, right? You don't. But impeachment and removal are two different things. I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know what to tell you. I don't. Let me tell you something, right? Let's all agree on something. Wounded Paw Project is amazing. Incredible organization I've been working with for a while. They take our furry best friends who are in shelters and would be euthanized, train them to be service dogs, and get them to our veterans, our first responders, and their families as they struggle in their time of need, whether it's PTSD, the loss of family, whatever it is. And putting these two together, what it does and how it changes and shapes life is amazing. Their motto is, to save a paw is to save a life. What they need, though, is any extra car, truck, RV, even a boat. It is going to be a vehicle for change. They even accept cash, but they really do need your help. See the work they're doing today. Go to woundedpawproject.org or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. I tell you guys, I've not sent anybody there who didn't say to me, that is amazing. They are really doing miracles. Check it out for yourself. Find out how you can get involved. WoundedPawProject.org. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm a father. Love my kid more than anything. I want him to enjoy his life. I try to give him all of the love I can give him, the support I can give him. He's 9, right? I got little ones. I want people to be happy in life. There's a father in Texas who was dealt a big blow as he fights with his ex over custody of their twins, in particular one twin, who, depending on the day, is a boy, and depending on another day, and according to the mother, identifies as a girl.
A Dallas jury ruled against a man attempting to save his 7-year-old son from being turned into a girl. Mr. Jeffrey Younger was denied sole managing conservatorship of his 2 twin boys, James and Jude Younger, by a jury this afternoon. Yeah. And this fight has been going on a while.
It's tough, right? Because I live in a world of live and let live. That's my motto. You do you, I do me, and as long as you're not hurting somebody else, got no problem with it. But I also live in a world where, you know what? If my son came to me and said, Dad, let me tell you something. I want to be a tow truck today. Like, oh, you want to be a tow truck driver? No, I want to be a tow truck. I'd be like, you're insane. People say, you shouldn't say stuff like that. Really? 7 years old is a big no-no as far as making life decisions, as far as I'm concerned.
On Wednesday, she will fill out additional details, including possession schedules, child support, and will make a ruling on a request put in by the mother of the 2 boys, Dr. Ann Georgelis. Dr. Georgelis has been affirming James, one of the twin boys, as a girl since he was about 4.5 or 5 years old. She has enrolled James in school since kindergarten under the name Luna. James at school lines up in the girls' line, uses the girls' restroom, and is treated completely like a girl. We even saw during this case that James's medical records indicate that he is female.
But he's not. Well, he identifies, Chad. And so the mom wants to take him now and go to the Genesis Clinic, I think it's called, in Texas, in Dallas, so he could start hormone blockers and essentially chemically be castrated. Do any of you out there ever heard of what a castrato is? I don't think there is any in existence anymore, not even really, really old ones. But a castrato was a young boy who would essentially be castrated. And it helped them to hit certain pitches in their singing. If my son came to me today and says, Dad, I'd say, what, Jack? I know what I want to be when I grow up. And I'm 9, Dad, so I'm totally capable of making these super solid decisions. And I'd say, okay, what do you want to be? Because you're 9, and so you've got everything on lockdown. I want to be a singer. I know. I see you singing all the time because he does. He's like, yeah. But I want to be a castrato, and I want to be castrated so I can hit the high notes in a way that nobody else can. And I will say, no. Now, when you get to 18, you want to make that decision? I'm solid with that. You're an adult. You thought it through. That's what you want to do. Okay. This life decision seems a little much. It does. It seems just a smidge much to me. And for a lot of other people. And I have friends who are, my godson is trans. Was born a female, now identifies as a male. In college, made the decision, lived that in a much older age than 7. You want to do that older in life? I got no problem with that. I'll support the hell out of you. 7 to me, this feels a little child abusey. Sorry. I'm sorry. It does. In the let the world see what you are, you do you, let's not do any of the drugs, let's not do any of the hormones, you're just going to live like that, and then as you get older, we'll make a decision further on down the line. 85% of them who move in that path and do not take any hormone blockers or decide to live as their birth sex. If your kid came to you today at 14 and says, Mom, I want a big tattoo on my arm, get me sleeved, you'd be like, hell no. But it's okay for this? And I feel like, based on all the things I've read, that when he's with Dad and his brother at Dad's house, he didn't want any of the stuff. Doesn't want to wear dresses. Doesn't want to do any of these things. Wants to be James. At Mom's house, something else. Is it attention? I mean, when I was growing up, divorce was just starting to become the hip thing to do, right? And kids were doing all kinds of things for attention from Mom and Dad, pitting them against one another, all kinds of stuff. You don't know what this kid's going through at 7. Can anybody remember back at 7? How many of you wanted to be 1,000 different things? Imagine if you're 7 years old and you said, the only thing in life that I can identify as is an astronaut, and that's all I want to be. And you lived your life as an astronaut, even though you weren't an astronaut, right? You drank Tang, right? You did everything you possibly could to be an astronaut, and you couldn't deviate from that. Then you got to 10, and you're like, I don't know if I want to be an astronaut. That's too late. You made the life choice at 7. I did make the life. I mean, my goodness. It's a perfect example. How many of you listening tell your kids at Halloween time, we're going to get your costume closer to Halloween? Why? Because you buy it when the Spirit Halloween store opens up early, mid-September, early October. And by the time Halloween rolls around, your kid's like, I don't want to be this. My son's like on his 3rd costume change. He changes costumes more than Elton John. I'm sorry, 7, way too early for this. Way too early. Absolutely. 110%. When you get older, you get 15, you've lived it, you've done it, understandable, I get it, there you go, if that's what you want. We're starting to get to that point where you're making serious decisions, you've put the effort in, you've put the time in, obviously you've thought it through, you're getting older where you can make those kind of decisions in a rational way. We're not there yet. 7 is not one of those life decision times.
Next day delivery with no minimum order. That's what Best Buy has announced it'll be offering to customers this holiday season. The move follows Walmart's expansion of next day delivery earlier this year and is an attempt to keep up with Amazon Prime, whose members pay $119 a year for the option of having more than 10 million items delivered as soon as the next day. Best Buy says its next-day delivery will include everything except larger products like big screen TVs and refrigerators.
Oh, all the stuff you really want. Holiday season, the battle that's going on now in the world of holiday season fighting for all of the stuff that you're going to be able to get is so amazing. I love it. I love where we live. I love the life that we live. We have everything on our fingertips. I can get just about anything in the – oh, well, you can get anything delivered to you. Just are you going to have to pay a little bit more? Hell, you can get cars delivered to you. You can go online, purchase a car, and they'll drive it to you. Is that insane? Food, cars, you name it, they'll do it. I mean, I'm looking at what's coming for the holiday season and how people are going to be just – they're going to throw everything at you that you can think of to try to get you to buy their stuff. And I'm always thinking to myself, man, I bought this ginormous TV for virtually nothing. How do you make money? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
Macy's Incorporated says it will stop selling real fur by early 2021 at its namesake stores as well as its Bloomingdale's locations and its discount outlets. CEO Jeff Jeanette says the company made the decision after meetings with the Humane Society of the United States and other non-governmental groups. Macy's says its store label brands are already fur-free. Ralph Lauren and Burberry are among the companies which have already dropped real fur from their lines.
I didn't know anybody bought fur anymore. I didn't know that. People still make fur? Who needs fur? We have enough. Like, we have stuff now that is, you can buy stuff from like Patagonia. It's like, okay, if it's 300 degrees below zero, you could survive in this. You have to go out of your way to die with all of the stuff we have now. You have to really, like, you got to hike to Everest and like, okay, I'm going to take off all my clothes now and put down my oxygen. Like, to eat it. But fur, I get it if you're living in the middle of God. If you're on that show, like, you know, Alaskans or whatever, the last people on Earth or whatever that is, okay, I get it. But really, fur? What are you, a pimp? Is this the 70s? Did I go back in time? Crazy. Speaking of crazy, this day and age where Trump tweets out lynching today, and we have to talk about that. This is nuts. So imagine, like me, I love Halloween. So my house, right, kids love it. It's all decorated, super crazy, got all kinds of things. I mean, I love it. Won the costume contest last year at work. I decorate my studio. I go all out. I go all out. We live in a day and age where some people see certain things in certain ways. And this guy, he did it big time. He went all out, as he does. Apparently on a yearly basis. He looks like a guy that puts in work when it comes to his Halloween stuff, but somebody's not impressed by that.
Richard Beatty breaks out his homemade Halloween decor every year, but this time it was followed by a knock at the door.
The postmaster himself came here and knocked at my door and said he was suspending my mail until I took the stuff down. And I says, well, you do what you have to do because I'm not taking it down.
Beatty's idea of trick-or-treat fun, deeply offensive to his African-American mailman. Gallows featuring a noose and a hanging skeleton.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yes. First of all, it's a skeleton. It is not a black person. It is not a white person. It has no skin. It is a skeleton. But he sees a noose. Sees lynching, apparently. Now, if this was just a normal thing and there's a noose out there, I could get that. But to get to the guy's house, you have to walk through his graveyard. Obviously, it's Halloween time, right? This isn't something that is up there 24/7, 365. This is up during a particular time of the year where scary things happen, but it's not what you say. It's not what you do. It's not how it was meant. It's how people take it in this day and age.
It's not meant to be racist. It's not meant to offend anybody. It's here to be scary, spooky. It's a graveyard. It's spooky. It's Halloween. That's what it's all about.
That's not what the noose is all about to many. Long considered an offensive symbol of hate, recalling a painful chapter of history.
He needs to take it down because he's disrespecting the other African-American neighbors.
It's a Halloween setup. I understand what the connotation is. And we can all understand what that is, right? But I'm going to say this. White people were hung. Black people hung. All kinds of people have been hung. It's nasty. It's ugly. We talked about Christopher Columbus and Columbus Day and the Italian Americans that were killed, were lynched. I think there was 15 of them. And nobody was arrested. There was nobody charged right before they made Columbus Day a holiday. I mean, it's what is taken nowadays. And how do you know what somebody's going to say or react to something when he probably has done 1,000 different things to his house? Everybody's got one or two people on the street that go overboard. I'm that person where I live that goes overboard. Loves it. Awesome. Do the same thing for Christmas. I'm like the Griswolds, right? You're going to be able to see my house from space. I am wasting so much energy. My carbon footprint during the holidays would make Greta Thunberg freak out. Every time I flip on the light at my house to kick off all of the stuff that I have, a penguin dies and a little bit of the ice caps melts. But I don't do it 365. No. It is a certain type of year. He has set something up in his house, in front of his house, right there on his private property. But it's how it's taken. So the mail people are like, no, we're not going to do it. I find that to be offensive. Okay, we're not going to deliver your mail. Really? Because you find this offensive. So all of the other stuff I have here, all of the monsters, the zombies, the graveyard, all of this other stuff. But this is the thing you find offensive. Yeah.
Beatty's filed a complaint with the Inspector General.
And I don't think the post office, of all people, should be the ones telling me what I can and can't do on my own property.
A Postal Service spokesperson says the carrier will now monitor conditions on a day-to-day basis. They have the prerogative to deny home delivery based on personal or physical safety. They point out it is at times a free-swinging noose. Beatty says that's only on windy days. And you see nothing wrong with that?
No, I don't. It's a prop, just a prop like all these other things.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand how people feel. I understand how people take things. I get that, right? I don't ever want to dismiss people's feelings. You know, so we have trouble talking race in this country. And one of the big reasons is because people are afraid to talk about race because they're afraid to be demonized something. Right? We're afraid to talk about LGBT and all of these things because there's a backlash, a fear, because people have decided to weaponize certain situations. And the Me Too movement, the whole 9 years, they weaponize stuff. And when you weaponize stuff, you've decided at that point in time you no longer want to talk about anything. It's now about revenge. It's now about being able to point fingers. It's now about all those things. You don't ever want to dismiss somebody's feelings. I get that. But common sense has eluded so many people, right? Like, you would think to yourself as you're standing there, and you kind of walk in and you go, oh, that's kind of scary. You know, I don't know. And it's Halloween, right? Like, did he do that because he doesn't like? Like, I saw the guy in the interview on TV. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't think he thought that far ahead, like, I'm going to show my black mailman exactly how I feel about him by hanging this here. He'll understand. I don't think it was that. I think he thought, I got a bunch of props. I'm going to put them all out there. This is going to be fun. Look at me. I went to the spirit store, the Halloween store, and I bought all this stuff. This is crazy. No, and you shouldn't. It's bad enough that HOAs across the country tell you can't have that. Your house has to be beige. I don't want a beige house. That's why I like living where I live. A little bit further out. It's very nice. Do what I want. Crazy. It is crazy, though. But remember, kids, it's not how you meant it. It's how it's taken in this day and age. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I love hearing from every single one of you. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.